Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Google Pixel 8a and compare it against the iPhone 14 and see which particular phone is a better one for you. Now, both these phones I like a lot, and I don't know if there's one that's like way better than the other one, but there are some advantages for both these phones, and it is interesting because, both these phones you can buy brand new. The 14 you can buy in the used market for a little bit cheaper than what it is brand new. But the iPhone or the Google Pixel 8a, there's also the main flagship this phone is based off, the Pixel 8, that is also cheaper than both these phones. And I'd probably recommend just buying that one over the Pixel 8. But let's go and see how both these phones compare. If you want to pick up either one of these devices, though, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these phones, the iPhone 14, which came out back in 2022, on the front of this particular phone has a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. And it's a good panel. I still feel like this phone is still very, very good looking. You have the notch up top, which is great. A little bit of bezel around it, nothing super crazy, but I still think it's a very good looking phone nonetheless. It's a 60 hertz panel. The panel doesn't get the brightest, but I do think in viewing angles and everything like that, it's a good performing, screen. And because iOS is so smooth, you get the smooth operating system basically everywhere you kind of mess around with this particular phone. So I like this phone from that particular perspective. On the Google Pixel 8a, this is probably a better phone display overall. So for one, it's still the same size display, so a 6.1-inch OLED display. Some big things to note, though, some differences. You're getting less of a hole punch display, so you're getting a hole punch display here, whereas you're getting like an indent on that phone. So that's kind of a big difference. You're also getting a brighter display. This one gets up to 2,000 nits of brightness, which is pretty crazy. But you're also getting a 120 hertz display on the Google Pixel 8a as well. So that is another very big thing kind of going on here. Now, if I'm going to pick up one device over the other one, this display is actually very, very good, but you are getting a little bit more bezel on this than something like the iPhone 14. For the rest of the body, you can kind of see what else is going on. Somewhat of a flat side on the Pixel 8a. It's kind of more of like a curved side. It's like flat than curved. The iPhone 14 is completely flat, and I like the design language probably more of the iPhone 14, to be honest. You do not have a SIM card tray on the 14, but the Pixel 8a, you do have a SIM card tray right here. On the top, not much going on. On the bottom, you have a USB Type-C port on the Google Pixel 8a, whereas on the iPhone 14, you're getting a Lightning port. Speaker grills on the bottom. On the backside, this is also a slight difference. So on the iPhone 14, you're getting this dual camera setup with a standard glass back. With the Google Pixel 8a, you're getting that dual camera setup with a frosted glass back. So this in and of itself is actually a slight difference too, but it's a frosted plastic back. Did I say glass back? I meant to say frosted plastic back. And I will say the frosted plastic back feels actually pretty good. I'm actually pretty surprised how good of a job Google was able to do with this frosted plastic back. Although the iPhone 14 feels more premium, there's still a lot of people who might look at the frosted plastic back and might feel like that phone might be better feeling for some people. Not too sure. But I will tell you from that side, that kind of covers it up on the outside. Both have IP certification, both have wireless charging, but that's kind of basic stuff we'd expect nowadays. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. Now from a software longevity side, in terms of what phone's going to last longer, I'd probably say that both these phones are going to be lasting several more years, but the Google Pixel 8a has a higher likelihood of lasting longer. The iPhone 14 is probably going to last another 4 years in terms of software support. The Google Pixel 8a, from what Google is saying, it's probably going to match in line with the Pixel 8, and the Pixel 8 was set to have 7 years of software and security updates. This one is probably going to have 6 years of security and software updates, which is actually pretty crazy. So having a phone of that caliber, of having that type of software update, is pretty insane, and I'm very, very happy and excited to see this type of feature set come out for this device over time. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The Google Pixel 8a has that Google Tensor G3 chipset inside with 8 gigabytes of RAM, but the iPhone 14 has that Apple A15 body chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster phone between both. Okay, there we go. Hopping out of all these apps, you can see none of them are open. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. 14 I think was faster. App stores, 3, 2, 1. The Pixel 8a is definitely going to be faster. Typically, the Pixels do faster in terms of app opening. Actually, Androids in general do faster at their Play Store opening than the iPhones do with their app stores. Hopping out of both of these, let's go and open up some third-party apps. Tempo on 2, 3, 2, 1. And it's crazy because you can definitely tell there's a big difference between a 120 Hz display and the 60 Hz display when you're in person. over the camera, because these are filmed at 30 frames per second, you're not going to be able to tell that difference. Maybe in some cases you will be at 60 frames, but in this case, I mean, there's a really big difference for sure when you're using it. And you can see from this side, and you can see from this side, and you can see from this side, the Pixel 8 a little bit faster. Let's go and get into the actual game itself, and we can kind of see what's going on. So we can kind of just get through all of this. And then, as you can see, just hopping out of all these. I don't know why there's so many pop-ups on this game. I'm pretty sure the gameplay is going to be roughly around the same, so it's not going to be that big of a difference here. Hopping out of both of these, let's go and get into some other games. We can do Facebook 3, 2, 1. Now, I think I am logged in here, so there's going to be a slight difference, so we're not worry about that. Stack 3, 2, 1. And on this side, you can see the Pixel 8a was faster to load into the ad itself. So we can try getting into some gameplay here and kind of see what's going on, which again, I don't think there's going to be like massive differences, but you can kind of see what else is going on here. Basically, the same thing, roughly what you'd expect in the other ways. Hopping out of here, snake first blocks, 3, 2, 1. And on this side, you can see the iPhone 14 a little bit faster here too. Scrolling through both of these, you can kind of see what's going on. Nothing super crazy. Hopping out of both of these. Let's try Snapchat 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Hopping out of here. Let's try Netflix, which I don't have. We can try Subway Surfers 3, 2, 1. And about the same, well, the iPhone 14 was faster here. I'm not really too sure why that was the case. But I will tell you, between both these games, they're both very, very good. Nothing super crazy between all of them in terms of the app opening. I think it was fairly close. Maybe the Pixel 8a would have been faster, but I think the iPhone 14 still did very, very well when it came down to it too. So now let's go and look at the cameras. And the thing I'll tell you, like I said before, both are giving you dual camera setups, wide and ultra wide cameras. So they both are very solid sensors for the most part. I like both these phones. There's not really too many issues here. 4K at 60 on the front, but the iPhone 14 can do 4K at 60 on the back and the front, where the Pixel 8a can only do 4K at 30 on the front of this particular phone. So that's kind of a downside a little bit. But the thing with the iPhone 14 is that this was a very good camera when it first came out, and it still is a pretty solid lens. You know, I think it handles mostly everything you'd ever really do at it and throw at it. You can do 5x zoom, which is really good, and you can do 0.5x zoom on the outside too, which is very nice. You have video mode, cinematic mode, slow mode, time lapse. You have, panorama mode. There's still a lot of good capability behind this camera, which is very, very nice. And this is definitely a phone I would look at and be very happy with. The Google Pixel 8a, I think this is also a very, very good phone. I like this phone a lot. And, it's a good camera as well. It's not anything basically to sneeze at, if that is even a saying. You have 0.5x zoom here, and you have 8x zoom here. You have portrait mode, long exposure mode, night sight, panorama mode. You still have lots and lots of capability behind this camera as well, which is still very, very nice to have. So overall, what I'll definitely tell you is I like the Google Pixel 8a, and I do think it's a really good phone. I just don't know if this would be a phone I would look at and recommend every single person to buy. And I would probably say the same thing for the iPhone 14. I think the 14 is a great phone, but it might be overpriced for some people. And I feel like there's, other phones you could buy around it that might be better. Like the Pixel 8, I think is better and cheaper than the Pixel 8a, so you might as well buy that phone. And the iPhone 14, if you want to buy an iPhone 14 in the brand new market, go for it. But then I'd recommend buying an iPhone 14 Pro in the used market and buying a phone that's going to be the same price almost as this one in the brand new market, but buy a way better phone with the 14 Pro in the used one. So that's kind of how I feel. Both these phones are great, but that's kind of how I feel these phones somewhat holding up in this day and age. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.